You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello everyone and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host Lacia Finley.
Happy Monday.
Whew, I am tired.
All right. I think we're just old.
I'm starting to think so.
Now.
I think, and I've never had this reaction yet, but I am going to tell a story.
Oh, the story time?
Because, okay, so you live in a state.
I do.
Where, you do, where certain recreational drugs are legal.
Yes, they are.
I live in a state where they are not. But we do have CBD. And I have come to learn about Delta 8.
Okay, yeah.
You know, that variant of whatever it is. And I've been trying these gummies, you know, and they always kind of relax me. I can kind of take one. A couple hours later, I'm just like, I'm good. And I can go to sleep, you know, and no problem. Because sometimes in the middle of the night or right when I'm going to bed, my brain's like, hey, think about this. And I'm like, no, not now. And it's like, but wait. What about this? No.
Remember that time you were embarrassed in 8th grade? Let's think about that right now.
Yeah.
Go.
So it becomes this ticker tape of ideas. And I'm just like, oh, that really does sound great, but I need to go to sleep. And then before I know it, it's like midnight, and I've got to get up at 6. And it's no fun.
Right, yeah.
So I've been trying those to kind of help maybe get me into a place where I need to go to. Like if I feel like I'm wired or something like that, or I feel like I'm going to be wired, I take those so I can relax. Well, I went shopping for these things on my own, which I had not done, and because they were always like purchased by my wife or something like that.
Sure.
So I went to the shop where she got them, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get some more of these gummies, and I started looking at everything else they had, and they had these cookies, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, how much are the cookies? And they're like, $20 or something like that. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I said, sure, let me get a little bag of cookies. Now, I didn't really look at the bag per se until I got home. So then I started looking at the ingredients, like the more or less the amount of
like percentages
Delta 8. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Now, what I had been taking prior to this, probably about 25 milligrams, I think, is what the gummies had.
Okay.
And that seems like, and it gets me right where I want to be, and I'm just like, These were 68. I guess if you wanted a barometer about what I would be like high, that would probably be it. Because, my oh my, do I remember giggling a lot.
Interesting.
A lot.
Interesting.
Like, we started watching, I don't think we were watching this initially, but we were trying to find something to watch, and I was just kind of like, Like, I was kind of gone.
Just chilled.
Yeah, and they're just like, what do you want to watch? Oh, I don't care. So then we started watching.
I'm not going to pay attention to it anyway.
Yeah.
So
but I did. That's what made it so much more dangerous. Do you remember Most Extreme Elimination Challenge that was on Spike TV? It was like they took a show from Japan called Takashi's Castle and re-edited it as like this, competition, kind of like Wipeout or something like that, where everybody's doing these games and then they get hit but all the audio was dubbed over in this ridiculous.
Oh, I think I had to look it up just to get a memory to trigger, but I think I know what that
Most
is.
Extreme Elimination Challenge with
Yeah.
Vic Romano and Kenny Blankenship.
Oh, I don't remember all that. But.
Okay, well, anyway, we just decided, you know what, screw it. There it was. It was on the television, just saying, hey, why not watch this? It's something simple. You don't have to commit a lot of time and memory to this.
Sure.
We start playing that. Probably watched about 3 episodes, and I was laughing so hard I could barely breathe. Like, I was just...
Oh, my God. I can't wait to see you on THC then.
Yeah.
If that day will ever come.
It was just... Everything was funny. You know? It got to this point, like, I was just thinking about one little thing that happened that triggered it. And then every time I would just come back to it, like I caught my breath, it would just come right back. And then there goes the laughing again. And I was just hearing everybody else in the room, which was my wife and daughter. And they're just like, is he okay? Is he all right? Is he? And then when the laughing would start again, I would just hear like these eye rolls through voices. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's
just so hilarious.
Would you rather me be an angry person?
Right.
You know, I'm enjoying it. I'm laughing. But the next day, don't know why, I was like tired all day. I don't know if the laughter, like the amount of whatever it did to my body.
And how fast, I guess, your system might metabolize something like that, too.
Yeah.
And having more than twice the amount you're used to.
Yeah. It was like, I feel like the laughter helped because don't they say laughter is a good medicine?
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I feel like it did something up here, but
Sure.
I don't know. I felt so exhausted the next day. Like, we were actually talking about going to the drive-in because there were 2 movies playing, and it was just like, hey, you know what? Drive-in, we're away from people. We can go watch some movies. Why not? Because we've been talking about doing stuff like that again, and I was not feeling it. I was like, I was looking forward to it too, and I was like, I'm so tired, so exhausted.
Take a nap.
Yeah, all day too. It wasn't like you wake up exhausted and you just kind of get over it. It was an all day thing.
Weird.
So I just got to be. I'm thinking maybe next time maybe half the cookie.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just more impressed that like CBD knocked you like that. It does nothing for me as far as that's
But I mean,
concerned.
you've had the good stuff. You get the good stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. I do get the good stuff.
So my body's
The
not.
state gave me a license for the medical good stuff.
So I mean, I don't have that tolerance as of yet. So I'll get there, I guess. Eventually.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because even
And everybody reacts different to everything, you know? So,
because to be fair, my body has, I think, started to build a resistance in some way. Because I started with like, I think it was drops. Like you get like a little dropper.
like the little oils.
Yeah, and then you put it up under your tongue. First time I did that, a couple of hours later, it was a relaxing like, whoo, yeah. And then I was good. Over time, it just stopped working. I was like, well, shit. And then I started getting the gummies. Gummies were working great. And I don't feel like they work all the time. Like if I take a break and then come back, then it's like, okay, all right, now we're back in. But if it's like every day, eventually it's just like, I know I took one of these. And they're like, yeah, you did, but
You did.
it's okay.
We're used to this, though, right now. We're just chilling.
I just want to go to sleep. That's what it all boils down to. If there was another
feel
way,
ya.
I just don't want to spend half the
We
night.
just need to get your state on board with it.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty stupid state, so
Well,
we have
I
pockets.
guess that's all situational, right?
Yeah. Tennessee
Yeah.
sucks. I'm saying it. I'm Tennessee born and bred, and I hate this state. So
Yeah.
I have more right to say it than anybody.
You know better than I do. I visited. That's the extent of my being inside Tennessee.
You didn't visit me.
No, but this was before I met you.
Oh, fair enough.
To be fair, I wouldn't have known to look you up. I was like 19 or 20 or something.
All right, well.
So it was a while ago.
That's fair. So, hey, what about, because speaking of laughing, and I had not eaten the edible at this point. just an FYI. But I don't know how you felt about it. Mm-hmm. But I messaged you ahead of time. The Ted Lasso episode.
Yes.
Did you get joy out of that episode?
I mean, I to be honest, I get joy out of most of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of joy. It was definitely a notch above some of them, especially for this season. Like, although I guess I don't get the theme in August.
I mean,
but fine, you know.
Perhaps though they won't be at Christmas by the time the season.
Yeah, they're
rolls
probably
out.
done before then, I guess, since they're running. I don't even know what a normal season is anymore.
10 episodes, as far as I know.
Well, I just we used to have fall to spring and done. Now they're in the summer or
which is
August to January, whenever they feel like putting them out, which is fine. But
I'm gonna put a pin in that and come back to it because if I do it now, I'll forget what I'm getting ready to say. Anyway, but Ted Lasso, that episode. The hardest I probably laughed at an episode of the show that I can remember. And what did it for me, and I don't know if this is, if you would agree or not, but it was the niece's breath.
Yes! But, he sold it so well.
Yeah.
That just...
And he's like, I think you're dying. I don't want to spoil everything. People, look, I know.
Watch it. Hopefully, you already have by now.
Yeah, look. I know no one wants more streaming services and stuff, but if you have a PlayStation and you have PlayStation Plus, they're to my knowledge, there's still an offer going. Go get the Apple Plus for free for 6 months or whatever.
6 months too.
6 months.
Crazy.
Yeah. Go do that and go check out Ted Lasso. If anything, that is the reason worth having that service for, because
I could agree there. Of course, I haven't thumbed through a whole lot of the extra ones. I've watched maybe 2 or 3 other shows that are on there, but for sure, by far, out of the ones that I've watched so far, that was my favorite.
Yeah. And Apple TV, if you want to be, need a sponsor or anything.
Right.
We'll sit here and talk about your show.
We'll just, talk it up.
And I'm not to say that there's probably not other good stuff on there, because I have watched 2 other shows, which would be the Mythic Quest, which I got
about 3 or 4 episodes into it. I can't see me being addicted to it, but I can see me thumbing through it here or there, looking for something to watch.
It's not something I naturally binge watched. Like you were just so into it that because Ted Lasso, that's what I did. As soon as I started watching it, I was in. Mythic Quest was kind of back and forth. Like I'd watch a couple episodes, stop, come back, and it's not a bad show. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I think for people who love video games, there's a few. Or quite a bit of little Easter eggs and nudges and nods where you're just like, that's cool, or whatever. But it's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I can't remember his name.
Rob McElhenney
guy. There you go.
And it's kind of in that same vein because the same people are kind of involved in it, but that might turn people away. There is heart to it, which is not something I can say about It's Always Sunny, because that's just...
Yeah, they're their own characters there.
But it's not a bad show. And then another one that would probably be Acquired Taste, which actually ended. Only 6 episodes, Schmigadoon.
Is it over?
Yeah.
I guess there's only one left. I powered through. I unfortunately wanted to love it and just can't.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm going through it, though.
Yeah.
The Hubs likes it.
6 episodes.
If I would have known there was only 6, because I think I stopped at 5, where I'm like, I don't know that I want to keep going. But if there's only one more, I guess I can suck it up for one more.
Go for it. Because they end it with...
I love the thought and the plot and all of that kind of stuff, but I just... My God, I wish I liked musicals more. It really is just if it's too much singing, it just drives me
crazy. But at least they point that out. Like
Yes!
I feel like Keegan-Michael Key is the avatar for those people who don't really care for musicals and stuff like that. So that's what I'm like. I don't have a problem with them. They're not something I seek out, and I'm very particular about which ones I like.
Sure. No, I'm the same. I have a very small handful that for sure I'll go back and watch. I enjoyed them,
but yeah, he's every time the singing starts and he's just like, "Oh, we're gonna do this? Please don't." And then I'm just
me.
like,
I'm like, I feel you, man. Do we have to? Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it. Is for those people who don't want to be here, you can relate to him. You're like, yeah, I get this guy. So anyway, long way around of saying, go check out Ted Lasso if you can. And again, if you can get it 6 months for free, just do that.
I didn't know that.
Hopefully,
I'm a dirty thief.
Yeah, you can get through season 1 and most of season 2. Hopefully, all of season 2 by the time it's all over.
Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how far along, 4 episodes for a season.
Something like that.
Something
4 or
like
5.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Totally
a lot of fun.
Worth it. A half-hour episodes. Breeze right by.
And so positive. Like if you need.
Yeah, I know. That's what it is. I just love the heartwarming nature of the whole thing.
And it's not saccharine. Like you're just like, oh my God. It's just, it feels so natural in all the right ways where you just, it just makes you happy.
Maybe I like to seek out the feel-good content these days. We need a little bit more of it.
We do. And by God, this is, it's probably the best positive show I've seen because they don't even attempt to skew it in any way, you know, or be like, all right, now Ted's going to do a heel turn. Now he's going to be a jerk or whatever. It's just, it's not in his nature.
Except for once.
But all that was part of a...
I know.
And they made all that. It just worked out like that. So yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
too much,
go see it.
Yeah,
it's
go check
fun.
it out.
It'll make you smile, and in the right ways.
So what you been playing this week?
Okay, so I did check out Boyfriend Dungeon since that came out unexpectedly. Yeah, I'm just like all working and, you know, have you seen it's released? And I'm like, no, I'm at work. What's happening? But I've already beaten it. So it is a little short. I mean, I guess it just depends on who you are, if you think it's too short or not. But it was exactly what I was wanting. It was, you know, your dating sim weapons, shack and slash, you know. And I dated everyone. I dated them all. Nobody seemed to care that I was polyamorous in every sense of the term. And well, I lie. I take it back. One, I did not, for no other reason than they read way too young and it creeped me out. Like just the way they acted, the way they were drawn, the age range with which it seemed to play. I was like, I can't, this is just not for me. Like,
at least you have
they were
standards.
like 19, 20, but like it just read too young. Maybe I'm too old now. I'm like, nope. Nope. I know it's just a game, but something about this still just makes me too weird that they feel too young. But yeah, so outside of that, I like maxed my love with all my weapons.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It was fun. I want more. That's the thing. Like I did want more. Like the dungeon crawling felt really good too. I just wish there were more dungeons. I keep seeing that like DLC and stuff is planned for the future. So there maybe more. I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is. I didn't look up a roadmap or if there even is one out there. But I enjoyed it. I think it's fun. It took me like, if you're wanting to just beat it and get through the story-ish, to like 6 hours, I think it took me like 8 or 9 because I didn't go into the final dungeon until I went back and maxed out everyone else just to see if that made any difference going into the final dungeon. And I don't know that it did, with the exception of maybe like some dialogue would be just maybe slightly different depending on which weapon you brought, like who would be talking to you in the moment, or maybe some minute differences in dialogue in what's considered the end scene.
Right.
But I feel like I've gotten all of the story. And since I'm not an achievement hunter, we were done. I didn't need to go back to find all the outfit recipes and stuff like that because I just don't care about that kind of stuff. But
Right.
you do you if you do. Doesn't seem like it would be hard. Yeah, I just hope there's more to it. The only disappointing thing for me, I think, was just that no one seemed to really care. Like, you kind of, like, if you're doing, like, a dating sim or something like that, you would think towards the end you'd be like, somebody wants to be exclusive and I'm not all about you dating, 6 other people. Like, maybe, nope, nobody cared. They were just like, oh, I'm in love with you. This is cool. And, like, I guess everyone just accepted the fact that I'm dating everyone in town.
Okay.
Or all the weapons in town, I should say. All the weapons in town.
All the
because
weapons.
in this world, some humans could turn into weapons. Some humans don't. I don't. I'm a wielder.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them can't turn into weapons.
Everything you're saying makes a lot of sense.
I mean, in their world, it does. These are the rules you set up for your world. And as long as you don't break them, I'm okay with that. I'll lean in. But, yeah. And then I played a little bit of the Tenants last night because I noticed they had like a much bigger update since the last time I played it, which was several months ago. And some of the things that were annoying the F out of me was addressed. And so certain notifications you could turn off, certain payment systems you could just make automatic, like all this like little tiny annoying stuff that would just constantly pop across the screen. They've managed that down now to much nicer point. And then I don't know, I guess I should do some more research. Like, I don't know what country they're from, but like, I'm just curious, and maybe siblings that live all over the world, you can tell me. In other countries, do landlords clean your homes?
What?
Because in this last update, now maybe it was introduced before. I will admit it's been a few months that I haven't come back to it, so I don't know if I missed a couple of updates along the way. So like when it was introduced, but like you play it, you're the landlord, but basically you're sending your uncle to do things. Like, you don't have an avatar. Like, you have a picture you choose to represent you, and that's about it. So if you have to like fix electronics or something, that the tenants are asking for, it's basically like your uncle that you're just sending in to like clean. But when I played it last night, I got a text message from the building manager of one of the buildings that I owned saying like, hey, it's really, really filthy. Now, this is a new thing. Never seen this before since last time. And I go back and their house is just full of trash, like flies and green stuff floating everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell is this nonsense? So I click on the building and it asks me, to like go in and clean. So I've never, in all my years of renting, had a landlord come in and do like cleaning maintenance on my house every once in a while, or apartment. And I'm wondering why that was added, or if that's like common in other countries. I don't know. You tell me. Here, I've never once had a landlord that did anything outside of what they actually needed to do. Something broke, they owned it, they fixed it.
Yeah.
That's it. They didn't come in and clean. They didn't offer to send a maid, or anything like that. But some of it was addressed, but unfortunately you had to start your save all over again. This is like the second or third time a big update's kind of been like, we're really sorry, you're going to lose your save file. So
That's garbage.
It's frustrating. I've never gotten super, super far in it, or let's put it this way. It's still early access, so I don't know how super, super far it even goes. Like, there might be end game. I don't know. I made it to like the second neighborhood, and then it seems like I put it down for a little bit, and then they do an update, and then I have to start over. So I'm not sure. But so far it's starting to shape up into a nice little game, nice little simulation game. If you like those sorts of ones, it seems like the annoying stuff is getting addressed and they're not done. So that makes me happy. I see that they're actually supporting it, updating it, still actively working on it. So makes me feel better that it'll keep going. So yeah, that's what I did this week. Little boyfriend dungeon crawling, some sword smooching, and then, some landlording. How about you? What'd you play this week?
Not a lot, but I did go back to Returnal, and I just don't know how much longer I'm going to play this game. I'm still in the second biome. I can only get so far before I get overwhelmed with the enemies. And it's
brutal.
It gets frustrating because I'm trying everything in my power to do everything right. and then I make one damn mistake, and then I'm pretty much screwed because that's all it takes. And if there was just some way to get some life, some energy, like a rechargeable suit or something like that, it would at least give me, I won't say it would fix everything, but it would at least give me an opportunity to try and correct any mistakes, because I could get to a point to where I could just have a moment to reset my energy and then get back out there. But every time I get to like the last bar of my health where it's just like, you're gonna die, I can't find health anywhere. It's like, oh, no. And before that, I can find it all over. But once that happens,
Of course.
yeah, it just disappears. It's like, nope, we're not gonna give you anything. I don't want to play a game that makes me angry, and this one's starting to kind of get me there.
To do it.
I appreciate everything about it. I mean, it's a great concept. It plays good. Like, the controls are really, really solid. It's just that one thing is so frustrating. I just don't want to do it.
I don't find those fun.
Yeah.
I don't find that fun.
So I don't know if I've actively just not went back to it. That's how much I'm not really sure I want to go back to it. So I think I think it's very telling. I probably I'd be lucky if I do. I did go back to Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which I don't know why. That's another one I haven't really pushed a lot of time into. It's not that I don't want to play it. I just don't think about it because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did go back to it and apparently finished chapter 1. Didn't realize that I hadn't done that. Like, I was right there at the end of it when I stopped.
Oh, shoot. Like, you were still that early on?
Yeah. But after I saw that it said end of chapter 1, I was like, well, how many chapters does this have? Apparently only 2. So I'm halfway done. I just need to finish up. And so I'd say another hour or so, and I'd probably be done with it if I just focus in on it. But the one game that has been taking my attention, because I'm trying to prime myself, is No More Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
So I finally got it for the Switch. I wish I'd have just went ahead and bought them when they were on sale, but it's okay.
Here we are.
Yeah,
Lesson
here we are.
learned.
So I did try something with this, because I still want it on the PlayStation. Like, that's where I want to play my games. But I have always been curious, since was not built around a regular controller, but more or less the Wii controllers.
Oh, yeah.
How exactly would that translate? So I tried playing with a regular controller. And
On the Switch?
Yeah. Like with the Pro controllers or whatever. And I don't think my brain understood that, because I keep this in mind. Before, like, when this game came out, I was obsessed. Like, I played it all the time, especially because this was at a time when, we weren't flooded with games every day. And,
Sure.
I actually replayed a lot of my games.
One, and that would be the last one you had for a month or so.
Yeah. So this is one of those games I replayed. So once you get to the end, you can do like a new game plus and bring over all your stuff. So I would just go through and just like massacre, like you could see how much stronger you got, and you could just plow through everybody.
Yeah.
So I have it in my memory. You're supposed to play like this.
Yeah.
This doesn't, I was swinging my arms, by the way. I know this is not a visual medium. So now I'm sitting there holding a controller, and it's just like, so how does this work? Because one of the things that you do with your controller is your beam katana, you have a high stance, you have a low stance.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you change that?
Did it let you play with the regular controller?
Yeah. I mean, you can do it, but you have to readjust how you play because of certain things. So if you want to make a swipe, you have to use the sticks, which you feel like that would be pretty natural, but in my head, I'm just like, my instinct is like swing. And I'm like, no, thumb.
Interesting. I want to say the reason why I ended up doing the Wiimote is because I initially tried the regular controller. Because, like, when I first started, it didn't even really occur to me about it being on the Wii. You know,
Yeah.
like, I knew, but it just didn't occur to me in the moment. And I was having a hell of a time. I couldn't get anything to work. And then when I went to look at the controls and when I separated them, then everything seemed to be fine. So that's interesting. I didn't even know you could get through the game with just a regular controller, because I would have preferred that personally.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can do it. I tried, but like the
used to the other way now.
it really depended on what I was doing in the moment. Because if I was just sitting there, just hacking, slashing, hacking, whatever, that's fine. But when you need that movement,
Right.
and sometimes it's required, I didn't know how to process that. There wasn't a section that was like, hey, here are the controls if you're going to use a controller. So figure this out. So then it got me thinking. I was like, so if this did wind up on the PlayStation, would they remap everything? Would they try to readjust everything? Would they try to help you prepare for this? Because I don't want
Are
to.
the wands even compatible with the 5?
I don't know. I really don't.
Because I've honestly never seen any kind of promotional crossover with the wands, even a little bit with the 5.
Like I would assume they would be, mainly because I have heard that you can still use your PlayStation VR on the 4. Now it's not going to make it look better. That's the one thing that they did say. It's like, yeah, you can still use it. Just don't expect it to amplify what you're doing. Yeah. It's not going to make a difference. I mean, it's still going to be the same thing. It's just you can use it.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I would assume the wands would still be able to connect. But I personally have not tried.
You should play with that and see.
Yeah,
just for science. Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if it would wind up on there. If they did, I would really kind of hope that they would give it a little bit of a polish, because not to say it looks bad or anything like that, because I remember the initial one that I had on the Wii, that would have been 720, 480 at most. So now we're getting like high def.
Yeah.
And it looks fine, but graphics are a little dated, and certain things look fine. Other things you could be like, it could be a little bit better. A little bit. Yeah. So I would like to see like a graphical upgrade and just really rebuild it in some way. I would put the money down for it. And I know that's what they're saying. Well, there's not a lot of demand. I demand it. And I will give you all the money.
I make up for them all.
Because I love this. I love these games. And 3's coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe that's what I should try to do. Sit down and finish the first one.
Mm-hmm.
If you say I could do it with the Wiimote.
Yeah.
I would have to start completely over, because I know I can remember exactly where I left off, and it was in the middle of that one boss fight with the chick in the warehouse or whatever, where you're constantly having to dodge roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I now remember the controls even a little bit to that be my starting point coming back in, so I'm gonna have to just start over.
I've always found that interesting. A lot of people seem to have trouble with her. Shinobu is like that. She's that one boss, and it's funny too, because
I got so close too. I get greedy if a fight went on too long, and then I think I cause my own problems, because I'm like, she just only needs one more hit, and then I get whoosh, like, damn it.
The thing with that fight is right there at the end, she'll start doing these super moves, and then you've got to be on your toes. So if that's where you've got to be good with that dodge move where you go into slow-mo.
Yeah.
Because you'll have her dead to rights, and all you need is one more hit, but she'll just keep coming at you. So
I pretty much had gotten to the point where I could whittle her down to that point fairly fast, and then just would miss one thing, and it'd be like a one shot, and I just got really tired of starting that part over, so I just had to quit for the night, because you're stuck in there. I couldn't just go do other things and want to come back, like,
yeah, no,
you're in the dungeon now, or whatever this is. So
it's I don't even know what to say about her. It's a hell of a fight, but I know I won't say that I was like acing her when I first started playing, but I got really good at her and I got used to her. Because again, played this game so many times.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
Well, and then
playing
you
it
even
again.
said, like, once I got past her, the others were a little bit more reasonable. So it was like just figuring that one out, and I might be okay. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So here's a little enticing thing to maybe push you to try again.
Okay.
Boss, I think it's rank number 5. His character's name is Let's Shake. Best fight in the entire game.
It sounds fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll
I
just
have
say that.
so many visions in my head of what it could be, and all of them I'm folded like a lawn chair in laughter.
Yeah. There's so much that happens within that rank fight that I don't even want to say it. Hopefully, there's some people out there who are listening and
Or
they
like
know exactly
listening,
what I'm
going,
talking
yes, Lace, go back and do that. All right. All right. I need to do it. I need to.
Well, that's all I got there. So, do you got any news you want to talk about?
There's a little bit this week. There was a little bit. I had a hard time deciding what I thought was like most interesting for us.
Okay.
But let's talk about this Abandoned, because I don't know if I completely understand everything that happened here. So, like, if you're all in the know, you probably saw like the big hype this week because they've been kind of teasing this trailer app experience to come out on the PlayStation that's been delayed like 4 times or something now. I don't know. I think it was initially supposed to drop in like June, then later in June, and then we heard stuff in July, and then it finally happened. So, and then with just all of the rumor mill that had been surrounding this game in the first place, it almost just seemed like it got kind of set up for this thing that I don't know if the developer anticipated can meet up to now, or if Abandoned is really just kind of foretelling for this dev's career, because it's kind of seemed like there was a lot of stuff just left in its wake. But regardless, the rumors, most of you probably know, everyone wanted to say, oh, is this Kojima's next big thing? This is related to Silent Hills. Ooh, even the font of Abandoned looks the same as like a Metal Gear font or whatever. So people were really trying to make this a Kojima conspiracy thing, which Blue Box, which is the developing team, came out and was like, hey, on Twitter, we're not with Kojima. We don't know him. He's not part of this. If that's what we were alluding to, it wasn't intentional and all this kind of stuff. Which I kind of found funny because, like, apparently one of the rumors, which I found funny, like, the guy's name is Hasan Karaman. So apparently his name translated from Turkish to Japanese was Hideo, which is hero. What? So, you know, we were all like, that blowing our mind. It has to be the same. I don't know. I think that's funny. Someone thought that much out. You know, the whole thing. But I guess it could happen.
Yeah.
So cut to when this app finally got updated. So I guess they sent out a tweet. Had just a one little, I don't know, 10-second video on it. Are you ready? Something like that, you know, because the update was supposed to go live on PlayStation. And the video that they tweeted was like just looking at these floorboards. Then you see just feet walking across it and off into the distance, and then it stops, right? So you're like, ooh, okay. A lot of people had trouble even connecting to the app even further throughout the day, even on it would drop. A 5 gig update appears. Everyone's excited. They're going to Twitter. It's happening. We're da-da-da. So you open up the app, and there's like, you get to choose your language, you know, and then you get to see a screen with a bunch of boxes that's got all the different trailers and cinematic trailers labeled out. And then there's the one that's ready for you to watch. And people clicked on it. It was the same damn thing they put on Twitter. It was the same 10 seconds of looking at the floorboards and this person walking across it, which would lead one to believe, why the hell did you post it on Twitter? Why did you think this was a hype thing? I'm starting to think they're trolls.
Yeah, it's starting to come off that way.
Like, what? I mean, it was August 13th, right? So maybe it was like a Friday the 13th kind of deal. I don't know. If that day was really weird, I'll say. But
yeah,
I'm starting to feel like this is one big troll account. So then, of course, you know, astute people on Reddit did their due diligence and digging. And I've seen this actually in other places now, too, that I guess Blue Box just has a habit of starting a bunch of things and never finishing the games and not getting seen through to its end. So I don't know what to say at this point. If you were excited for it, I'm not really sure anything's gonna happen. And all of that hype and build up, I was even looking through the comments. My poor heart went out to some of these people who were so freaking excited. The download is happening. It's working. And then immediately come back to be like, well, this tweet won't age well.
Yeah.
Some people, I'm going live on Twitter. You're going to get on Twitch, you're going to get my reaction for the trailer. Actually, I kind of wish I would have seen some of them because it would have been like all excited. And then like, wait, we saw this already on Twitter. What? But the whole shtick is that you're seeing it in the Unreal real-time trailer.
It's just...
Think about this.
I mean, look. I know that there is the Kojima thing, which man's clever. I'll give him that. So
yeah,
there's a part of me that could believe he's behind this. But to burn people that way?
I just
I don't know.
It's like, is the guy new to the internet and new to gamers? Like, I don't know how you thought how this was going to go down. I mean, really, for all the hype and the delays. And then you literally posted it online. Mm-hmm. And then I mean, as someone who was never interested in it, I can sit back and laugh at the shit show it's become. But if you were someone who was very excited for it, I could understand being extremely disappointed in what the hell is going on. So anyway, something just isn't settling right with this.
Yeah.
So don't hold your breath if you were one of the ones excited for this project. I feel for you. But it doesn't seem like this team even has a history of getting all of their ideas started and out the door and even kick-started that would get abandoned because I don't know, for whatever reason. But it feels like one long troll at this point. And I don't know if the developing team thought this was going to happen, got wrapped up in it, doesn't know how to handle it at this point, or if this is just how they do. And then this one just happened to blow up a little bit harder than the other was.
Well,
I don't know. I found it hilarious when I went to go see the people's reactions for the trailer, and that was all it was. And I started laughing.
I mean, look, I'm sure they're all garbage people for the most part. I'm saying that about somebody who probably watched it with excitement right now, who's listening to our show. I don't mean you. I mean all those other gamers.
Oh, my God.
Anyway. Who cares?
We'll see, Blue Box. We'll see what you do. People are watching, or maybe they stopped now at this point. I don't know. We'll see. But I guess best wishes. I don't even know how to end this piece. Moving on. It's just such a weird story. For me, I had to talk about this. Skyrim and Fallout modders are quitting Nexus Mods in protest to a recent update to some changes it made on its website. Now, those of us who PC game, probably very aware of the Nexus website. It's where you probably go most often to pull mods from. People have their own creator pages on there. You can subscribe monthly if you want, which gets you like ad-free, faster downloads, these things right here. But the biggest update that they've just did was they put out a statement saying that they want an important notice for our future plans for collections. So they're starting this thing called collections. They worked hard on this for 2 years, man. I'm just going to put that out there. They worked many hours on this. They wanted us to know for 2 years. And to introduce the collection systems will be a way for more people to enjoy mods and make modding easier. So the way it seems like it's set up is like if you already had all of these different mods, they would kind of put them together in a nice, neat collection for you, the user, to be able to download. Now, if you're modding, you realize taking one of those mods away could screw the whole thing, right? A lot of them might work together or have been updated as the game was updated so they can continue to work. But what this really meant was the change announced basically means no files can be 100% deleted from the site, instead archived. Now, on its face, that doesn't sound bad, but you, the modder, could be losing complete autonomy over your creation. So they're pissed off because it's like, I should be able to take this off if I want. I created it. I put it up there for people to use. I should be able to manipulate it, do whatever I want with it. But instead, you're telling me that's now going to get archived and I no longer have any right to my own creation. So I can understand why a lot of these bigger modders are upset. So once it's archived the way it was articulated, like if I went to go look for that file, I'd no longer be able to find it. Mm-hmm. But if I already had it, I could still access the archive to re-download it into my game or to put it in with whatever collection that they had. So the modders are kind of going into protest about this. A lot of the bigger ones have already left the site, and a lot of them are citing reasons for, with you putting it in collections, you're taking away people from going to our personal pages where there are donation options, there are other ways to support the creator, and you're kind of putting them all in a nice, neat little thing for the user. Again, still nice. Now, Nexus is trying to I don't know. This is kind of a weird area because they're trying to say that there is a donation system that's already been in place that they technically say they split among all of the creators, which may only end up being a couple $100 a year, the way it seemed like it was broken down from some of the modders, because just like, I guess, how often people would donate. And while it said $750,000 it donated over time, I feel like since its inception to now, with as many creators that are on there, it might sound like a big number, but once you're splitting it out with so many people, you know, a lot of these people are doing it out of the goodness of their heart.
Right.
So I feel like they should have autonomy over their own creations, whether they still want it in the world or not. So they didn't seem to consult the modders, the community, anything before placing the system. They're basically, now they've heard you and you have until a set date in August to just completely delete it. So they gave, I guess, like a month grace period. They heard enough people complaining about it, like, hey, you've got until, I think, 15th or something like that, and you can completely delete it off the site. After that, it's staying on there. If your big time favorite modder was once on Nexus, they're probably not there anymore. A lot of them have moved to other sites that still give them that freedom over their own creation, or made their own site so that they can have freedom over it. So
it sounds
it's not going over well with the creators.
Yeah. It sounds it's an interesting parallel to comic book creators and the strife that they have to go through now. Granted, video games and comics aren't exactly apples to apples, but
right.
It's the idea that you created something that somebody else is going to make money off of and you don't get anything, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually heard, and this is disappointing to me, and I know that there are a handful of creators that are actually trying their damnedest to make sure that they can retain some ownership to some of their characters. That's why a lot of them don't create new characters that they really want to see thrive at Marvel or DC. They go to somewhere like Image, where they have freedom. Like, they offer them, it's creator owned. Everything that you create is yours. So don't worry about that. At Marvel and DC, it's like, well,
But if it takes off, we're gonna want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Furthermore, and to me, this is it makes me disappointed in Marvel, okay? Because we've seen all the movies they've made, the billions of dollars they've raked in, okay? And yet, the creators of these characters, example that I can think of right off the top of my head because I've actually heard this story, a man by the name of Ed Brubaker, he's a great writer. He created the Winter Soldier. And obviously they took his ideas, incorporated it into the second Captain America movie, and now all the way through to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, his character is thriving on the screen. And he mentioned in an interview, and I appreciate what he's doing, towing a line, but I could also see, I mean, if he was angry, you have every right to be. He said he made more money doing a cameo in Falcon and or Captain America: The Winter Soldier than he has gotten for them using his creation. And some have argued, it's like, well, you didn't create Bucky. True. But he created the Winter Soldier. It could have been anybody.
Right.
You know, it's just the Bucky angle is what kind of... And that's probably one of the reasons he's not pushing it or arguing about it, because, yes, Bucky is not his character. But the entire story, the story arc, everything, that was him. He created that. Bucky is, as far as anybody else knew...
never seem to can get just a fair shake, because it seems like people outside of that realm seem to think that, I guess, there's not really that much effort put in, so why do you feel like you're entitled to more compensation for it? Like, I feel like there's this disconnect where they're like, yeah, but you worked for like 2 hours and then you're done.
Oh, God, no.
You know, but that's the idea. It seems like that people get in their head.
One thing,
because I've even seen like these entitled people online when they want like a photographer or something like this. They're like, well, you just point a camera and click. Why would you? You know, so it's like people don't understand the work that goes into art unless you're an artist. And we want to, I don't know. It's really strange disconnect.
Comic books. I mean, the entire process, if you're sitting there thinking about this is how it works. Okay, we got one person writing, one person drawing, and then they collaborate, and then boom, they get something done in a month. They're planning this stuff in advance, okay? Far, long ways in advance.
We don't know how many edits and stuff that it took before we saw what we saw, too, you know?
Plus, from what I've heard, and I've never even thought about this, but I've been hearing from other creators who have actually moved into comic writing, like that entire process is nothing like a screenplay. Like you have to be detailed about every single little thing, because you have to convey what you want the artist to draw. You're sitting there talking about that.
Yeah,
so
see, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Because if you have something very particular you want in the frame, in the shot, you have to convey that. You have to say, you know, this person's doing this, or maybe they're doing that, and this is over here, this pot's over here, that picture's on the wall. You have to let them know. Otherwise, they're just going to be like, all right, well, I'll draw this, and that's that.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes they give them that freedom. But to kind of go back to what creators get, I know I heard this here recently. Marvel creators were talking about, you know, it's kind of like Ed Brubaker. There were other writers and artists talking about their, I guess, what they got out of it as watching all their creations wind up on the screen. It's like a check for $5,000 and a thank you card. You know, that's about all they get.
I don't understand it too, because like with the SAG union and everything, as well as they do with like the actors and stuff like that, I feel like there has to be for those artists in that vein as well. I don't know. I won't speak on it because I'm not sure if there's different levels of that, you know.
Well, it's a low down thing to do. You know, you are making... Sure.
You're using someone's idea infinitely for over and over and over and over and over again, and just cutting them one check. It's like even actors get residuals, and their work was done when they walked off set, you know, like it's over.
Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of with the modders to kind of go back to them. Oh, for
sure.
Because
I think they should have autonomy to do with their creations whatever they want. They want to delete it. They want to upload it. They want to charge you for it. They want it for free. They made it. They made the damn thing.
And how many times have we heard modders fix a game sometimes?
Well, that was going to be my next point. Like, a lot of them are fixing the damn game you didn't fix in the first place. Or adding just some sort of little adjustment that should have just been an option. So... And then I feel like this is just like every time they want to steal someone's work and do it that way, because we just had this with Bethesda not too long ago too, like several years back when they wanted to start charging for that in-game modding download that you could do. And it's like, but we're putting them up there for free and now you're charging people to download them. So yeah, it's like, maybe just hire these people, for crying out loud.
I was actually going to bring that. Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up, you know. Seeing that these people are doing such great jobs, they need to hire them. I don't know if you saw this headline or not, but this to me, I was just like, oh, good. Finally, you know, something's actually come of this where somebody does a fantastic job and now they actually get a job. There was a guy that went back, the Mandalorian Season 2, when that came out, and then spoilers for God's sakes for a show that's been out.
3, 2, 1.
Luke Skywalker shows up back at the end of the season, and obviously he's de-aged and whatnot, and it looked good enough.
Very little magic to make him young.
Yeah, so it was just like, okay, that's cool. But then this guy on the internet who does deep fakes went back and redid it.
I did hear about this, but
and
continue.
Then, he made it look so much better because of the deep fake technology. They hired him.
See, that's smart.
Yes.
That's smart, though. You see this person is capable, better than what the people you paid for. That's smart. Again, if they want the job, of course. But again, that was smart.
And think about it. He did that in like no time with probably half the resources or probably a fraction of the resources they have. You just imagine what he could do.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh. So that's good for him, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that is a good story. So,
I'm happy to hear that.
Pay your artists, people. Pay your artists. So yeah, so basically, long story short, if you were like, hey, my favorite modder is just no longer on Nexus, now you know why, and you might have to just look up their name and see if they went to a different site or created their own. And that mod may or may not be there. It's up to them. So looks like there was kind of a small Activision Blizzard update this week. Not a whole lot different has changed since we've talked about it last as far as the state of the lawsuits and everything. But there was another departure, at least, or a couple actually. 3 more senior employees have been let go. We have Louis Barriga, who is the director for Diablo 4, which would be coming up, along with Jesse McCree, which was Diablo 4's lead designer, and Jonathan LeCraft, who is designer with WoW. So the article said they were let go. I don't know how that went down, but regardless, 3 more senior people who clearly allowed all of this to go on has been let go. Did not read about Bobby yet. But another little interesting thing here, that there's this SOC investment group. They were part of the ones that tried to kind of lead that charge with the other shareholders to not give Bobby their huge payday last year, if you remember, where he didn't take his yearly, but he just took the bonus because that was so nice of him. You know? There was like 155 million or some garbage like that. Anyway, so the SOC's investment group executive director, Dieter Weisenegger. I hope I said that right. Dieter? Probably.
Dieter Weisenegger.
Yes. I think it's Weisenegger, but well, whatever. So Dieter, I'll just say, I don't know, issued a letter to Activision Blizzard's lead independent director, Robert J. Morgado, criticizing how the company has been handling this whole thing thus far. So SOC, as I mentioned, is a shareholder of Activision Blizzard, who allegedly was the one who was trying to get their executives in check over there. I don't know that they're working, but but basically they were like, he pointed out, like, no changes have really been announced regarding executive pay. Surprise, surprise. And was on the side of Activision Blizzard Workers Alliance by also criticizing their choice of the law firm, which we have discussed, the Wilmer Hale, who's been, I guess, was the one that was hired to union bust at Amazon. There's no evidence that's why they were hired here, but still, they're on the side of corporations, not the people. And he goes on to state that this firm, Wilmer Hale, has a sterling reputation as a defender of the wealthy and connected, but it has no track record of uncovering wrongdoing. The lead investigator does not have in-depth experience investigating workplace harassment and abuse, and the scope of the investigation fails to address the full range of equity issues Mr. Kotick acknowledges. So I don't know if that's going to help or not. You start having maybe more of your big money investors starting to make more public-facing comments. Maybe that'll start to encourage more change because, again, we said it a million times. Money is what speaks, unfortunately. No one's morals or any kind of humanity will come into play in a lot of these situations. So, yeah, he's basically calling for them to, like, push beyond these stupid responses that you've said, and more of you need to go, more of you need to get your house in order, and we'll see if the shareholders can make more of a change coming forward. But I mean, we're starting to see some people let go, whether it's performative or real. I don't know that we'll know that or not, but
sacrificial
I don't know if I should
lambs.
even get them credit for doing the bare minimum, it seems, at this point, but That's the newest thing I could see updated on this story since we first heard about it. Shoot, I think it's only been 2 weeks ago now, 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's just all for show. This is what happens every time something like this comes up, when there's a big lawsuit, harassment, yada yada, whatever. We just off a few people and be like, look what we did a thing.
Look what
and
we
then,
did.
And then you'll just sweep it back under the rug and you'll never talk about it again. It's like, no, we took care of that. We fired people, remember?
Yeah. They probably got
Okay.
nice little golden parachutes in there too. I don't know. That's totally speculation on my part.
They
like,
did,
I didn't
I'm
see
sure.
anything that said it, but I just kind of assume like, we're sorry, we have to let you go because of this. It'll make us look better. But here, have all of this as a consolation prize. Thank you for playing.
And they'll get another job somewhere else with another company that does the same shit. And that, you know what? That's
it's
honestly something to kind of keep your eyes open for. Whatever company they wind up at, just wait and see what happens. Because they will. They'll get a job. You'll hear it in a couple of weeks. Be like, oh, such and such creator who was fired
I think
from
they'll
Blizzard.
give it a little bit more time than that. But yeah. I think other companies might still be a little too hesitant right now to want to put that name on it. I think we're going to have to give it a little bit of space. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't think it'll be that quick. Personally.
Well, hopefully you're right.
I just hope that they would, get the help that they need to not be a garbage human and to be able to contribute to society in that way. That would be the ultimate goal in my head.
But the little trolley gamers, they were contributing to society, building my favorite game, Diablo, and wow.
That
How
disconnect's real, too.
dare you slander his name? I'm going to send you a death threat email.
No, not another one.
Yeah.
I know, games are serious business. But how about some more fun stuff?
Okay.
Gamescom stuff is kind of around the corner. There isn't a whole lot yet. Of course, we're still trying to tease you and make you want to come out and have fun and all this kind of stuff. But it will be, again, all digital. August 24th through the 26th, and will be hosted by none other than Jeff Keighley. They are boasting dozens of different partners that will be shown off over the 3-day digital event. Well, maybe 4 events. I don't know. Xbox is doing their own event early, like right before, I guess, everything kicks off, but it's like associated with Gamescom. I don't know. They do their own thing these days. So like the Xbox, Bethesda, I don't think they have anything to announce, but I don't know. And we might still be talking about Halo forever.
Or Deathloop. Did that ever come out?
Or Deathloop. No, I think that's September now, actually.
So maybe it'll...
Yeah. So we might see maybe a little bit more about stuff we already know about, but I can't think of anything new. I don't know. We'll see, right?
I know what they'll do. They'll announce something with a title, and then that's it. Coming in 2023. Maybe
2025 or something, right? Because I know they keep saying like Skyrim 6, or not. I keep saying Skyrim 6, Elder Scrolls 6. Like, don't expect it anytime soon, and I'm like, oh, we weren't.
No, but they'll show.
I wasn't. Let's put it that way.
They'll just show the fancy logo they've created. It's like, look, it's happening. We said 2023, but
Yeah.
we don't really know. It'll just be one of those games that gets delayed time and again.
Possibly.
Anyway.
Or in so many years, it's just too early to be talking about.
If that happens, I want some money.
Well, oh, yeah, if they actually do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this was our fault, though, because everyone loves Elder Scrolls, so they keep asking and asking and asking, and I'm sure Bethesda's like, dude, look, fine. We're working on it, but just stop. Like, it's not close. You know? Like, I think they were just enough to be like, stop asking. Here's a logo, just to let you know we are doing something with it, and leave us alone about Elder Scrolls 6. I don't know. That's how I feel. Like, the parent just was like, oh, all right, look. We're doing something, but it's just not ready. Stop. But if you're wondering how you can watch opening night live, which will kick off, I think they said about like a 2-hour event over on Twitch and YouTube, of course. And it looks like we've got the likes of EA, Ubisoft. You know, that's the first ones to show up.
Sure.
It's a little, anyway. Bandai Namco and Sega, 505 Games. Those were just the few that I could see lined up that has their own event. Probably more to follow soon. And then August 24th at 10 a.m. Pacific is when Xbox is doing their early show before the show.
Sure.
Let's just call it the start. I don't know. I don't know why we're trying to make it complicated in these articles. Like, it's part of it, but it's early, but it doesn't officially start till they're done. Whatever. I don't know. You're making it complicated. It starts with Xbox, and we'll go from there. I don't know. Well, tell us, siblings. Are you excited for anything at Gamescom? Kind of curious. Do you have any inside knowledge about what you think will be announced that maybe we actually don't know is coming up yet?
I still promise you we're going to see 3 or 4 trailers. It's nothing but a logo or some flash in the pan.
And then day one on Game Pass, you know?
Which will be delayed
Whenever
eventually.
it is. When it eventually happens. But outside of that, just a few quickets. Those were like, I guess, the meteor stories this week that caught my eye. Amongst all the rumors, because we love to do GTA rumors. We love it. We crave it. Well, this one might actually be true. I'd seen it running around here that there was a GTA Remastered Trilogy. Because that's what we do, is every time there's a new system, we're just going to keep repackaging that bad boy and throwing it out to you, just like Skyrim. But it's a remastered trilogy, but it actually is Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Looks like it's all digital only. Just a nice little update to those games. You get them all together. We'll see when it comes out. There's no like date. So that's why I say appears to be real. To come out this fall.
Yeah.
But to all systems and the Switch, which would be the first time it's been on a Nintendo console, I think.
Yeah, that's true. But so just more ports. I thought we did ports.
That's the life we live right now. Sequels and ports.
Look, ports are fine, I guess. But if you're gonna take the effort to bring a game back, why not go that extra mile? Like the Mafia Definitive Edition, where they really
it's basically a rebuild. Yeah,
just
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I know it just seems like it's too much work and just porting it over is easier, but if you can just put in that little extra effort,
I don't know that it's easier.
Blue Point Games makes a living off of it. They
dedicate to it. I feel like you take the other team. Anyway.
Hand it off to them.
I just don't know if it's easier.
Yeah. But no, seriously, hand it off to them. Let them do it.
Sure.
And then release your game. Why not?
Yeah.
I
don't know why they keep doing these things. I mean, GTA 5 is going to make money till the end of time, it feels like. Like, there's no sign still of that even slowing down, and that's been out forever. Speaking of sequels and what I'm actually excited for, Frostpunk 2!
Woo! Yeah,
I didn't know they were going to make a second one. So I'm ready for all the saltiness this one will bring. Because I tell you, I love that first one. But my God, it can get hard. You start to get really pissy at your people. I need food. I need medicine. It's like, you know what? I'm trying here. I'm the only person trying to collect coal for you. But the trailer is pretty much nothing. It's just like a little cinematic that basically is just telling you something is happening.
Like that thing that I was just talking about.
Right. Like most of these trailers, just a logo, basically.
Hey, it's happening.
But it is happening, and the only thing that I could really find out is that it's going to take place 30 years into the future after when the last game set off. So we're now into the gas and oil era.
Okay.
And then we will find out in, I'm assuming, the next year or two to come. Because it sounds like it's super, super early. But I'm here for it because I really loved the first one. And I really love the art style of the game, too. There's just something so unique about their style. Because even this War of Mine, like, there's just I don't know, man. It's just it's a lot different in the way it plays and aesthetically, and the way that they can just kind of make the background move along with it. I don't know. It's cool. I'm sure there's actual professional terms for all of this stuff that I'm trying to describe, but it's unique and different, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean. More begging with people.
And then it would just be with more. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll talk about that one later because that could start a whole other debate with my snarky sarcasm. But and I'm excited. Friday, August 19th, 12 minutes release.
Yeah,
releases. If you're not familiar, of course, that is the interactive thriller that has James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe lends their voices to it. And it's on Game Pass. I know. I'm one of them people now. I'm sorry. I got
It's okay.
indoctrinated, and
It's
I
okay.
do now realize how awesome it is. And that's what I'll be doing Friday.
It's okay. I mean, you go enjoy your Game Pass.
I know. We just need to get you more into PC gaming because your laptop can handle it, man.
It can. I know.
You just got to plug you into your TV.
I know. I tried.
I'm telling you, man, the amount of I know, not an ad. We're not sponsored, but my God, the amount of games that actually come on there that you would pay like $60-$70 a pop, or even $20 a pop, and I paid $5 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
I
don't know. If it's a game I really would play over and over again, I would absolutely throw money at it. But with the way my gaming lifestyle is, once I beat it, I'm usually done, with a very small exception, a handful of games I'll come back to over the years. It made sense. And now that I see it's coming on there, I'm like, sorry, Steam. This might be the first time. I'm like,
Now, can you?
but if I wanted to buy it, I probably would go back.
So
over there. I
Game
don't know.
Pass, you can play on your PC. Like,
Yes.
can you buy things?
Yeah. I think that's kind of going to be its kicker, because it doesn't appear to stay on Game Pass forever.
But you can
if-
buy something.
You can buy it off of there. Absolutely. So like I've seen like the option to buy, play, whatever. So my thinking is, especially with games that are maybe more endless, or that you would play a lot, or 40, 50, 60, 80 hours you put in, once it comes off Game Pass, you're probably going to buy it there because you've already put in all your time and effort and everything there. So, I mean, in that respect, it's smart because honestly, if I played a game where it took a long time to level up, build up, got all this stuff, I'd probably just buy it there too because I wouldn't want to start all over.
Okay.
Although, like, State of Decay 2, I feel like has been on there since the start of the PC Game Pass. So I'm not sure which games get decided how long they're there. But there is a section that tells you which games are leaving. So that's when I went, there's the big kicker. Because if you want to keep playing it, go ahead, buy it. Anywho, I stand Game Pass. Sorry.
Maybe one day I'll sniff around.
Yeah, it was just too good. Once I see now all the games that I was excited for coming out there, and I realized I don't have to spend $300 this month. Kind of nice. I don't know. Sorry, devs. You probably don't like me saying I don't know how you get paid. Moving on.
Moving
the
on.
devs over at Hello Games, or I dig myself in a hole that doesn't need to be. They teased a new update for No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Like the gift that keeps on giving. What a great story. It will be free apparently for all players. Did I say it was called Frontiers? I don't know if I said what it was
Maybe.
called, but it'll be
Who knows?
Frontiers. Dude, I was looking at the list of all the free updates that came. Holy crap. Like I never got into it from the get-go, and it just isn't a game that interests me at all. But my God. Gift keeps on giving. It's their 5th anniversary surprise, apparently. 5 years, damn.
Every time I see them doing stuff like this, it makes me want to go check it out again. Because there was something good there that I knew could be fun. But it was just that empty void of there being nothing. And then when I did come back to it eventually, there was a little bit extra, but it was still kind of not quite what it needed to be. And then now I just see all this activity and how
The 10th update or something.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
just how intense and how alive everything is. I want to go explore these planets.
You should go back to it, especially with all of them being free and everything like that. I tell you, I love the story with these guys. It just seems like it was just such a rough start and probably a little in over their head and all this kind of stuff. But true example of how people can just make mistakes, not intentionally. And I don't know. It's the way it's feeling now because, like, they didn't ignore it, run away, or close it all down. They were like, nope, we effed up. How do we fix this and make it better? We believe in this thing. So, yeah. Anyway, good stuff.
They fulfilled their promise. Let's just put it that way. They did what, like, when they came out and presented this game to us, this is the game they promised. And they have fulfilled that and then some.
Right.
So.
And who's to say now my memory could be a little muddied on whether we just as gamers decided all of this stuff was supposed to be there day one or what. I don't know. Enough distance has passed. Why bring it up? I feel like they've done good. They're making a great game. And the following seems like great group of people even.
Sure.
So it's not even like a toxic community. So good stuff. So 5th anniversary surprise, a new update called Frontiers coming your way. And last little quicket I have, rumor has it, Bethesda may be creating or have already created a new studio dedicated to remakes and remasters.
Well, see, now that's exactly what I was talking about.
Right? There you go. I should have just moved that quicket right on up there to segue in. But yeah, so there you go. It seems like it's a rumor, but apparently, it's one of those YouTubers that's always been really good about uncovering it in the past. So we have it on good authority.
There's like this one YouTuber's name that I keep seeing pop up on my feed, and I'm guessing I watched them one time. And they're called Emergency.
The loved it.
Yeah, they're called Emergency Awesome. And every time some little rumor, some little thing pops up, they have this 10 to 15 minute video about this one teensy weensy little headline. You talk about the most clickbaity bullshit.
That's the journalism we're in these days, man.
Rumor has it that blah, 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 blah. And I don't even want to click it to hear what he's got to say.
Right.
Because just seeing it just seems so pretentious and just like arrogant. Like you're just trying to sucker me in for a view. Well, fuck you. I'm not clicking your video.
I won't do it, man.
Asshole.
Oh, jerks. Anyway.
I got 2 quickets.
Go for it.
I know one that we've talked about, but I just wanted to bring it up here. How about Idris Elba being Knuckles?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I wrote that down and then it completely escaped my mind as the week went on. But yeah, I think he's a good actor. It's lending his voice to it. Let's see. I'm never going to be that person that will begrudge any actor anything ever again. Yeah. I can't have something on record for me to just be proved wrong on the internet time and time again. Several, but
I didn't have any preconceived notions about who should play Knuckles. It wasn't just like, oh God, no, or oh yeah. It was just like,
they'll get someone.
Sure,
yeah,
okay. And then they said Idris Elba, and I'm like, okay, sure, why not? Yeah. I mean, because I don't know what he's supposed to sound like.
That's true. I don't have anything in my head about what Knuckles should be. Of course, I try not to solidify any fictional character into one thing because they didn't exist.
I'm kind of wondering if they didn't get him for 2 reasons, which again I think obviously he's got a voice that's like butter.
Oh God, yeah, right.
So
I know.
I feel like you're getting a voice that sounds commanding. Could probably do something kind of dark and serious, which I feel like he's gonna kind of be. But then a voice that can convey a little bit of humor and comedy. Because if you watch Suicide Squad, he did a pretty good job at towing that line, balancing that act, and I think it's a good choice. I can't think of anybody else. Not that he was born to play Knuckles, but I don't know who else could play this role. I don't.
Right, and to be fair, I've given it no thought.
Yeah, I have not. It never crossed my mind. I just figured they'd get a common voice actor and just be like, yeah, why not give it to Nolan North? Why not? Who cares?
Sure. Well, we know who that is, but movies, when you're crossing over in that once you start mentioning Nolan North and stuff too, is it who? So gamers really know who that is.
Right.
But I see your point.
Last thing I wanted to bring up, because this was this actually happened, reported today. Do you know the name Steve Perrin?
I'm not confident.
He was the creator of RuneQuest, and he had done quite a few other games. He passed away at 75. So his name it wasn't like, oh yeah, that guy, but I know his name. I know I've seen his name attached to things, whether it be in certain video games that I've researched or whatever, but I know I've seen that name. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up if you're a fan of RuneQuest or any games like that.
Yeah, looks like RuneQuest, Stormbringer, Call of Cthulhu on the wiki. And I realize anybody can update that, so I'm not 100%. But yeah,
Yeah.
Well, best to the families.
Absolutely. Thoughts and well wishes.
Oh boy. Well, that's actually all I had.
Okay.
On the docket. What fun are we ending the show with today?
Well, today we're actually going to have a little discussion, you and I, about our favorite mini game.
I just heard all the siblings go, but we always listen to you have a conversation.
But this is a fun conversation that you all can chime in on.
Yes.
All you got to do is add us at Super Mega Crash.
Like, I collectively heard the sighs. Come on, people.
It's okay. So I thought it would be fun to explore something that I would argue most large-scale games contain, which are mini games. Now, while I can't say for certain, the earliest video game to contain a mini game that I could find was the original Final Fantasy from 1987.
Okay.
And I'm gonna power through this name. Programmer Nasir Gabelli.
Yeah.
Sure.
There wasn't a lot of struggle there.
He apparently slipped in. I don't know why I said slipped into. He didn't slip into anything. He slipped in to the game a sliding puzzle as kind of a little Easter egg. And I say slipped in because it was not part of the game's design. Like, there was no plan to have it in there. He was just like, hey. And then you just put it in there. So if you found it, it's like, what is this? So it's kind of a nice little, nugget for people.
For those who do, I assume you had to do a little side exploring and you would happen upon it or something.
Something,
nice
yeah.
little reward for the curious people.
So this actually kicked off a trend, seeing as how every Final Fantasy title since then has contained a minigame. So it just kind of became its thing. Final Fantasy VII currently holds the record for the most minigames in an RPG.
Really?
At 30.
Like overall series?
Within the RPG genre, Final Fantasy VII has 30 minigames and no other RPG. Now, granted, outside of that, I don't know.
Okay.
But, yeah. Now, some minigames can be crucial to finishing your quest, while others are just simply to take a break from the action. Some minigames feel like they don't quite fit a definition of a minigame, even though people say, well, it's like a minigame.
Yeah.
Then we've had games that are actually built around minigames.
Yes.
I want to look at those minigames that we probably spent as much time on or enjoy as much as the game we're playing. So it doesn't feel cumbersome, burdensome, or something like that. It's just like when you come across it, you're like, you're so excited.
And it's not helping you finish the game even a little bit, but you're just going to sit there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're just like, no, I want to do this because I'm having a lot of fun. So that's what we're talking about today. So I thought we would kind of lay out a little list of our favorite mini games that we've personally gotten some information.
Some mileage out of.
I don't know why I said information. God damn it, my brain.
Well, I mean, we probably learned something too.
Yeah. So the minigame that wasted your time the most in a regular game, but in all the right ways.
Right.
In all the right ways.
Because you wanted to. You actively chose to do it. Yeah.
Now, while I could imagine some people would say that games like WarioWare and stuff like that, oh, yeah, there's so many great minigames in that. I don't feel like that kind of fits the definition of what I'm looking for here, Because those are like 2 to 3 second little mini games, and you're just doing that stuff on the fly. That's kind of its point. The mini games are the game. I'm talking about the mini games. Fishing on The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. You can go fishing.
Well, the most classic version, Gwent on Witcher 3.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, that's on my list.
Yeah.
Because, well, all right. So
probably the biggest one to point to, for sure.
I mean, that one. I'll talk about that one real quick. And that one is a mini game that kind of took on a life of its own, because it became something within this game that everybody was so obsessed with that they spun it off into its own game. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't think of any other mini game in which that's happened. I really can't.
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure a listener right now is going, but what about? Well, tell us which one that is.
Dava, get on it.
You're right, Dava. Where are you at? Our well of knowledge right there.
But at first it seems overwhelming, like you're not quite sure what you're doing, but once you really start to learn the mechanics of Gwent and how it works and how the gameplay I mean, you get really obsessed with it, and then you get into these, what's the word I'm looking for here? These trials.
I know people are going to yell at me, but I didn't play Gwent.
You have to track down cards for your deck within the game. Sure. So now that becomes yet another quest for you in The Witcher 3.
Oh, like gathering magic cards or Pokemon cards. Okay. Yeah,
so then you find yourself going out of your way. If you know where to find another Gwent card, you'll go do that. So then you have a more powerful deck.
Sure.
And then you go play Gwent with somebody, and it's just it's a really fun game. I mean, if you've never played Gwent, give it time. You know, try to learn it. It's not going to be something you'll just immediately go like, oh yeah, or unless you're like a savant or something like that, and then maybe you're like, oh yeah, I know how to play this.
Oh, this was so easy.
But I mean, it would always felt like a fun game that you win some, you lose some, and I was never frustrated by it. You know, it was like I played my hand wrong. I didn't do something right. I can do this.
You can see where you went wrong.
Yeah. So I really think Gwent is a great example of a mini game within a game that's it's a nice distraction. Say you've just been wailing on some monsters or whatever in The Witcher, and you just need a break. You don't want to go out and fight some hard monster because that shit can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, it can.
You know, you can just go
right away too if you wander off too early.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah, but hey. Oof. You can always go into a bar or a tavern. I guess they're taverns in the game.
Probably.
Who knows? And go play some Gwent. Because there's always someone looking to play Gwent. So, yeah. So what's a game on your list? What do you got?
Well, I just thought I'd start probably with like the easiest because I'm a simple person.
Mm-hmm.
I take simple joys and things that obviously just Red Dead Redemption 2.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of time I would sit there and play Blackjack once I finally found Blackjack was ridiculous. Well, until I ran out of coins.
Yeah.
I rarely won. Maybe that should have been a sign. But I did. I would seek out the different, because I think each bar you find has a different kind of casino card game, right? That you'll play. And I remember, like, as soon as I found poker, it's like, there has to be blackjack. For some reason, I'm addicted to blackjack. Like, even the few handful of times I've been inside a casino physically myself to play a card game, I always gravitate towards blackjack.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like I have more control over that one. Like, if you're just, take into what's on the table here, you can make a smart play. I don't know. But my God. And just the little banter you would have with the people around the table, too, would be interesting as well. And I would try to get hammered before I did. So my own mini game with the mini game was to get completely hammered and play the blackjack. But yeah, my God, I bet most of my time spent, especially in the early moments of Red Dead 2, was spent sitting there playing freaking blackjack with all these other dudes at the table, drinking my beer.
Yeah.
Or whatever they have.
Just whatever you got.
Like, I really role played it when I played Red Dead, though, too. Like, I would get into it. That's how it's fun. So
did you get so
I
hammered
wouldn't spit around my house or anything.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Give
so
me
we
a
can get
spit
like
can.
blackout drunk or anything.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be able to play anything at that point. But that's the first one I had on my list because I feel like a lot of people could probably relate to that one, or just casino card games in general. In some of them that, I will sit there for hours.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Ignoring the story and just playing cards. And in my head, they all now know I'm the big, bad casino blackjack player. Could take them all.
See, I kind of want to go back and
right? Like,
ride
now
around.
I feel like just going and wandering around Red Dead, I tell you.
Nothing
Such
fancy.
a great game.
Yeah, just wander around.
Just wander around. It's so pretty. So many little things to do.
Yeah. Anyway. I want to piggyback off of that, which this would kind of be in the same vein of Blackjack and Gwent. I personally feel like that feels like a mini game that I had a lot of fun with. And I'm sure you could play. It's one of those mini games that kind of has a purpose if you want it to have a purpose. And I think in Gwent you can earn cards from the people you play with. I think that's how that works. Like if you win a match with someone, you earn a card.
Okay.
I think that's
maybe, yeah.
right. But in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there was a game called Orlog. I don't know if you've heard of this. And it reminded me of Gwent in the sense that you're playing, you've got someone who's like, hey, you want to play me in a game? And you're like, sure, why not? And then you'll earn something from it, which are like these little tokens or whatever that help you play. Now, I'll try to explain this the best way I know how the game is set up. So you have 15 little stones, and think of that like your life, okay?
Okay.
Then you have, I think it's 6 die. So it's almost like Yahtzee or something like that. So you have like 6 die, and they all have different, markings on them. There's like a hand, there's a helmet, a shield, an arrow, an axe, and then probably something else that I'm forgetting. Now, each one represents how you're going to either attack, defend, or even steal from the other opponent. So, obviously, arrows and axes, they're attacks, shields and helmets, that's defense, and then your hand, you collect little gold pieces, which you use as kind of currency for special moves, if you will, and then you can steal those from your opponent if you have the hands.
Okay.
Now, that's the basic setup there. So what you do at that point is you roll, and you get 3 rolls. So you'll roll your die in this little bowl or whatever, and you see what you've got. You pick out which ones you want to use, and then you lay them out. And then the next person goes, they do the same. And then you roll again. Do you want to use any of those? You lay them out, yay or nay. And then it's pretty much by the third roll, your last roll, you have to, whatever comes out, you have to use. So you have to kind of play this strategically. How are you going to attack or defend? And then you can, again, see what the other person is laying out. So if they lay out 3 arrow die, you probably want to get 3 shield die to block that. So that would be the main moves after the 3 rolls of die. So who's going to get what, who's defending, who's attacking, whatever. Additionally, you have these, don't really know what you'd call them. This is what you earn for winning a match. They're like these little totems, I guess, or that's probably not even the right term for it.
Just like a coin of some sort? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a little...
artifact?
Artifact, there you go. Let's use artifact as a good word.
Okay.
So you'll earn these, and these artifacts that you collect kind of give you a special ability to help you turn the tide of the match, if you will, possibly.
Like a special move.
Right. But to use it, you have to earn these little gold pieces. So you'll earn those in 2 different ways. You can either steal them from your opponent with the little hand thing, or you'll see like these little dotted lines around the edge of your die, and if they show up, that's an automatic coin. So you can kind of look at that and be like, oh, I've got a dotted line. Well, let me put those down, and then I can get the coins, and then I can use a special move. And the special moves have 3 tiers. There's like, for 2 coins, you can do like a small little special move. 4 coins, you like medium kind of move. And then if you've got enough coins, you can do a really big move. And it can be anything from preventing the other player from attacking your stuff. Like you can do a block move. You can do like a super attack move, which I always kind of went back on. Like I'd earn my money and I'd chip away at his health. And then as soon as he had 8, bam, I'd just slam that down.
Done.
And it was like, that's it. And the beauty of these artifacts is depending on what the move is will depend on when it's used. So, for example, if you are trying to enhance the attacks that you laid out in your die, like you can have this one, so say you only have 1 arrow, you've got 3 arrow die laid out, and then you use your artifact and you're going to increase the power of their moves. You can turn those 1 arrow die into 3 arrow die. So now you, instead of getting 3 hits, you're getting 9.
Damn.
And if you've only got 3 shields, too bad. You're still getting 6 hits. So you better
day.
be. Yeah, exactly. So little things like that can really shift the way it works. You've got health moves. You've got defense destroyers, everything. I mean, it doesn't matter. So it's strategic, because even when you think you've got it figured out, if you make one wrong move, I mean, this guy can just be like, oh, by the way, I've got this move. And you're like, damn it. And the ones that would always multiply, the axes or the arrows, that's where I would underestimate my opponent, because you don't know what they have. So you know what you have, and you can only choose 3. Like, you'll have a selection you can choose from to help you out, but you only get 3. So you have to try to play and select based on your play style. Like, what are you going to do that's going to help you through this, and how can you get there faster to eliminate them? Because, again, you could... I was winning there for a while, and then he's like, oh, I've got about 15, 20 gold pieces. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to screw you over. Big time. And you just don't have the opportunity. But it's a fun game. Like, I never felt like if I lost, I wasn't like, like Returnal mad. No, I wasn't mad. Right. I was just like, damn, I screwed that up.
Damn, all right.
So, okay.
Well, you could see where you went wrong, maybe, and it would make sense.
So
what
I
would do to fix it.
Exactly. I never felt like it was a cheat or anything like that. Like, I know that I have the same moves in some...
Was it just some RNG BS
yeah.
that got you?
It's just like, I know that I just needed to rethink my strategy. And that's what made it even more involved and exciting, is as soon as you kind of lose and you saw what you did, or you saw how he won, it's like, yeah, well, I got it. And you saw the move he used, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to put that in the back of my head, and I need to figure out how to prevent him from doing that. And you adjust your tactics so that when you win, it's just like, ta-da, and you feel satisfied by it. It's like, yeah, okay, you got me once, but I got you right back.
Figured that out, yeah.
So, yeah, Orlog is a lot of fun, and that's one of those I think would be fun to have, is kind of a, like if they said, hey, we're going to turn Orlog into a separate thing, $5, sure.
Sounds like some people would totally take off with like that, for sure.
I think it would actually be a good multiplayer game. Like, you and I could be like, hey, you want to play some Orlog? Sure. And then we can just sit there and chit-chat and just play Orlog. Why not? It'd be a lot of fun. Maybe expand on it in some way.
Should do that.
Yeah.
Note.
So what else you got?
Well, siblings, my stuff is not nearly as thought-provoking and intense as the ones that Steven has chosen. But when you had mentioned earlier with Final Fantasy having the most little mini games, I will admit I was shocked, because Yakuza, I feel like throughout their entire franchise series, they've had so many. I almost want to look up now to see how many they have over their lifetime. But there's one, I think it was in Yakuza 0, that had the disco mini game.
Yeah.
And I get into these little rhythm games because if anyone's played anything Yakuza, it's so big and ridiculous and over the top. And that is what draws me to it. It's just that tomfoolery, over-exaggeration of everything, and I freaking love it. So when you have these big bad Yakuzas disco dancing the way that they do, or even like the little karaoke and the little moves that they have them do, it's so silly and over the top and ridiculous, and when you mess it up, it's even more fun. And the fact that everyone is just cheering you on and making everything so much more fun, like the entire room has just stopped so we can watch this one person do this rhythm disco game. I think it's just hilarious, and I would spend so much time in there going through every song you would unlock.
Yeah.
Because you could get new ones, especially like with the karaoke and stuff. But that disco game got me every freaking time. See, mine's not because it's thought-provoking. It's like, it was so dumb, I laugh. So if you want the good, I guess, thought-provoking mini games, you go to Steven. If you're just like me, who just wants like mindless humor because it's hilarious, play the Yakuza mini game.
Okay.
But I do. There's so many in Yakuza games, though. Because, like, I mean, they even have, like, baseball ones and golf ones and then the karaoke ones and then dancing. I mean, it's just, like, it's so over the top and ridiculous. It's hilarious. It just, I love them.
I
will seek them out in most Yakuza games just to see where all of the different mini games are. And I guess they're not completely useless. Like, you don't have to do them, but sometimes you can like earn stuff that might make things nicer for you later on, or you know, whatever. But yeah, they've got so many. I really do want to know now.
Now, keep in mind, when I said Final Fantasy, that they were very specific to say RPGs. So Yakuza could
not considered an RPG though.
I feel like it would
like
kind
in
of
sense
action. Maybe it does kind of have RPG elements to it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's okay.
Oh, like a dragon popped up as a turn-based RPG. That's what I figured it was like. Yeah, I mean, it's a JRPG, which I guess is the same thing, just a Japanese role-playing game. But I mean, they could. But they're just all so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even Final Fantasy is super long. Yakuza games are super long, and there's quite a bit. I don't know off the top of my head how many Yakuza games there are. 1 through 5, 0, like a dragon. I don't know. There's probably like 10. Anyway, disco dancing in Yakuza 0 got me like, yeah. And I would spend like hours in there just going through every single song that I could.
Yeah, I really need to get back on that. I don't know why I stopped playing it. I think it was because I was playing in my bedroom and everything else is everywhere else, and I never moved it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
They're long though. It's a commitment. You got to be in the mood, and you got to be like, you know, committing to that's what you're gonna do for probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
dedicating hours at a time. It's hard. As many as I've played, I can't say I've finished nearly as many as I've started, of course, and not for any other reason than just like enough time passed where I was just like ready to move on, even though I liked them. I guess not enough. Anyway, go play disco.
Yeah, why not? The last one I want to talk about, because I had a few that I was mulling over, sitting there thinking like, here's an honorable mention, was Mercenaries on Resident Evil 4. But the only reason I don't feel like I want to give it, I know it's technically a mini game, but I feel like it's not different enough from the regular game. You know what I mean? You've just taken the idea of just going around killing a bunch of people in a town and just turning it into a mini game. So it's not.
And then like 5 and 6 kind of took off on that idea for a minute in certain areas, but yeah.
So I don't really feel like that defines what we're looking for here. Something as a break or different from what you're doing.
Yeah, because you can't just go back endlessly whenever you feel like it at any point in the story. So maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Eye of the beholder, I guess.
Right. One. I'm sure people will argue. My all-time favorite, as I was sitting there thinking about all this, and I can't wait to get back to it, because I'm hoping I'll have the time to do so and get there before the 2 weeks is up. No More Heroes 2 has the best minigames by far, which is really interesting because I've heard some people complain about them. You know, and I think
you can't please everyone.
I think what it is they're not quite understanding the gist of it. Because one thing that I'd say, and this is to try and get to a point in this, comparing No More Heroes 1 and 2, what they did between the two games is they streamlined a lot, which I appreciated. In part 1, you have kind of free reign of the town that you're in. And so you get to ride around on your bike, and then you can travel to here, to there, to here, to there. Part 2, they just said, you know what? Just go, just point on the map where you want to go, and we'll just put you there. And I was like, thank you. You're cutting out this driving bullshit we don't need. It's not important. Just
that they add to make games feel longer.
And you know what? It's not all that bad in the game, but it's just, I just want to go there.
Yeah.
It feels tedious.
Get down to it.
Yeah, let's just get there. So, in part 1, you had jobs that you had to do. You go to a place. There's I
mowed the lawn.
Yeah, you mow a lawn. You can go collect coconuts.
Yeah.
There was like I think you're hunting for mines on a beach.
I don't know that I did that one yet.
I feel like there was another one that I like. All right. Anyway, they're all within the context of what you're already playing. So you're playing a mini game based on whatever's kind of in the world itself, which, I mean, it's fine. I mean, they are what they are, and it's okay. Part 2, they turn them into new games, which is what I appreciate. Because instead of leaning into, okay, well, say you're going to do the coconut thing again. Instead of it being you on a beach knocking on trees collecting coconuts, they've turned it into this 8-bit minigame. So now it becomes something completely different. And more in the vein of another game that you may have played. And all the jobs are like that. I think there was maybe one that they didn't take to that degree, but I can't remember which one it was. Doesn't matter. The rest of them were just so good the way they did it. Some of my favorite, there's this one called Bug Out. And what you do is it's an exterminator job. So you're having to, again, this is all kind of an 8-bit grid. And you have to spray the bugs that are there. And then you have to suck them up in a vacuum. But there's a very particular way in which you do that. So you got to spray them, you got to knock them out, and then you can collect them. And then you got to try to do all this. And to get the highest score, just make sure you don't die or you get hit or anything like that. There's another one that's more of a puzzle game where you have to kind of connect. It's called Lay the Pipe. Get it? And then you're trying to put all these pipes together to get the flow of water through the sewer system or the water system or whatever.
Sure. I mean, I've seen stuff kind of like
so
that.
it's essential puzzle, put the piece here, put the piece there, and then try to figure out how to get it from point A to point B. Simple stuff. One of my all-time favorites in the game that they have is called Man the Meat. And you are a cook. And again, all this is done in an 8-bit style.
Yeah.
Which just makes it so much better. Even the audio is in an 8-bit style. It's people walk into your restaurant and you're sitting at a stove or whatever, and they ask for a steak. So they'll say rare, medium, or well done. So you have to cook to that degree, and you have to kind of keep your eye on the steak, watch the color to know exactly what you need to do.
I would like those.
Yeah.
I wasted too many times on those little cookie games like that.
And what makes it even better, being in that style, is you'll sit there, you'll watch it, put it on the plate, serve it up, and they will rate you based on whether or not you got it right or not. So some people will be like, that's good. And keep in mind, this is that 8-bit, oh, that's good. So it's, yeah. But that's what makes it so much better, because there's this one, if you do it wrong, he's like, tastes like shit, and then throws something at you. So to hear this in an 8-bit style, cussing you because you screwed up his steak, it's just,
fantastic.
It makes it so much better. And I love playing that minigame.
That might give me flashbacks. I don't know. I've had food thrown at me before, so.
But no, it for my money, those minigames, they're all unique in their own way. They all resemble a style of minigame that we're all familiar with, but then they put a spin on it. And these are granted, these are your jobs in which you earn money to continue the game, but I had so much fun playing them just as much as I did playing the main game. So I would go back and earn extra money for whatever and not even care about, I was like, oh man, do I have to earn X amount of dollars? Oh my God. It never felt like a chore. You know, it was just like, oh yes, I cannot wait. Because I'm going to go play this one or go play that one or try a new one. I think there was one called Sting So Good. That's the one I was trying to remember because I thought it was in part 1, and it might be, and I just haven't got there yet. But you're having to collect scorpions. And I'm almost positive you had to do that like in the actual main gameplay style. It's not 8-bit, so you go around. It is
part of it.
Yeah, so you're going out off into this big barren field, and there's a bunch of scorpions. You pick them up with a tong, and you throw them in this bucket on your back. So I feel like that's the one that was the regular art style, but it's still fun. It's still just as fun as anything else. So I recommend those if you haven't played them. just the side jobs alone are awesome.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. In my opinion.
Totally.
Do you have another one?
We should have ended on yours. It was much more interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did make 3.
Well, what do you got?
I followed instructions. But the last one that I had written down, and it's been so long since I VR'd, it took me a minute to try to like remember some of these. But Defector, which is a VR game, it had a little market area that you could go into. And I believe like there could have been a point if you wanted to play them to earn enough stuff to take with you to just like upgrade things if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But it would tap out, and there was no limit on how long you could be in there. But there was 3 different stations in a market area in VR. So to me, this was much more fun, where I was sitting down and playing like Plinko.
Yeah.
Or they had a dice game there too, and I don't remember what it was called. It kind of played like Yahtzee, but not exactly. Like it had its own rules, and I should have, I guess, looked it back up since you had such a great explanation for yours. Mine, I don't remember. We rolled the dice and you collected coins or whatever. But I can remember going into the game knowing that I was just going to go park it in that market area for like an hour or two because I wanted to play the Plinko games. I'm a game show fanatic, so I would sit there and play the little Plinko. I don't remember what it was called. I call it Plinko. I'm sure it had its own name in the game. And their little dice game. And I would clean up on some of them.
On some of them.
Until I'd lose all my coins, and then you have to go play to like earn some more or whatever. But all in all, fantastic game too. I do recommend Defector. Makes you feel like kind of like Blood and Truth, you know, where you feel like you're in this action movie.
Yeah.
Jumping out of airplanes and shooting people. Woo! And sometimes you're on rails and have to go through it fast or whatever. But yeah, early on in the game, go park it in that market area. That's what I would do. And I don't know, maybe it was just more fun too being in VR. Just felt like I was sitting there like having these little conversations with people or whatever. Like, yeah, sitting around playing the gambling like you would with real humans, maybe at some point in our lives. This was pre-2020, so if I would have only known how real that reality would be. But yeah, that's my last one. I don't have anything thought-provoking or profound.
It's fine.
I do not think it would hold up on its own as its own game outside of that game, outside of its confines. But yeah, the Plinko.
It's fun.
It is. I really kind of want a Price is Right VR game. I'm just saying.
That would be kind of. Why haven't they done that?
I don't know, because maybe I'm the only person who wants it.
I mean, they made
There's
like
lots
Jeopardy.
of game shows I wish would be in VR that I could play, like Pyramid. I would love to play some Pyramid. I don't know how you do it on VR. I guess you would have to, like, maybe with other humans.
Maybe
They
could do it.
There is game show VR games. It's just they're like off-brand knockoff ones, because I played them with Baz before. Shout out Baz. Hey, how are you? And we would play like trivia games and stuff where we would be in the VR and we look like we're standing behind the thing and we have the announcer and the big lights and everything going on. So, I mean, it was fun for once or twice through, but...
well, hell, take a look at what they did with those... We played Knowledge is Power on our summer vacation, so...
That was fun.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good little party game.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of people together and just do some fun trivia-ness and...
That's for me. I'm telling you, I love me my game shows. I need to just get the Game Show Network already. I'm sure it's on its own somewhere, and I could play along at home. But yeah, so that was my last one.
That's okay. It was fun.
That was my last one. But those are 3 that I can remember off the top of my head that I've wasted too much time on, and it didn't help the actual story at all. So there you go.
Nothing
just
wrong with that.
Got stuck in it. Yep.
You play your way. And siblings, if you have, what's your favorite minigame? That's what I want to know.
Curious. There's got to be so many I couldn't even think of.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Like if fishing won't get me.
No, I mean I
That
can
is the
get
one
into it.
mechanic in any game I have zero interest in. It's not fun. If there's an achievement, I will just not get it.
See, now that was one of the achievements in I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it was just like, hey, collect all the fish. And I would go fishing every now and again because I needed fish for something, so I'd have to go out looking for them. But at some point, like, I didn't even know where to look for certain fish because they give you a map. Like, there's a funny little joke in there where you get, it's not a map per se, but it's like a guidebook, and it's called Fantastic Fish and Where to Find Them. So you can look to find where all these fish are, but there would never be like one specific spot. It would just be like, oh, if you just go here, 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 you can find this fish. And go here, 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 you can find that one. Oh, you're looking for that one?
Second Tuesday that's raining, you can go here.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh my God, there's so many fish. So I just said, you know what? I don't need this.
That could be my challenge. If anyone knows of a fishing game, just in general, that you actually think I would find funny. Well, funny too is
Could be
fun.
funny.
But fun. I've never come across any of them in any game, mini or otherwise, that has caught my interest, that is just as boring as real life fishing, in my opinion. I get some people love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting there. And then the way it translates to games, I got to like tap the thing really quickly just to get my fish on there, or sit there and wait till you see it. Like, not fun.
Yeah.
Nothing about it is fun. If you make me in the game, because I have to get past something, I will do it long enough to get past it if I want to. If it's optional, I will never touch it.
I get it.
Never. So there you go. Siblings, can you find me one? You're like, nope, I think this one would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good challenge.
I feel like
I defy anyone to find me one
there was
that I think is fun.
Was it Black Flag? There was one of those Assassin's Creed games I remember you had to go out, or they would make you hunt whales and sharks.
Well, whale hunting and fishing, though, is a little different.
That's true. It is different. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Like, if I had to sit there and wait for hours for a whale to come past, then yeah, that would probably be my fishing, because I'd be like, just come on.
Super bass fishing. That's what you need to play.
Right? Well, I avoid that because that's the whole game, right?
Yep.
That is the game. But I'm not knocking people who enjoy it. There's nothing about any kind of fishing mini game, fishing in any game that's caught me.
Right.
Even in Stardew Valley, that's like the one thing I never finished, because I'm like, I don't want to figure out what day I gotta find the damn fish, and then you gotta wait for the thing to bob in the right area and click it. It's just, no.
Yeah.
Just let me throw out a net, collect them all, and sift through.
Well, hey, that's all I got.
So that's our show.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for listening, siblings. You know you can hit us up sometime on Twitter at SuperMegaCrash. Send us an email to over supermegacrash@gmail.com. You can also go to Instagram to view the weekly icon art Steven puts time and love into. Don't forget you could support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred platform, and even going to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. You can tell your friends to find us on I need to rewrite that because I've had it written wrong this whole time.
It's okay.
And every time I've just, whatever. You guys know what to do. Search Pencil and Paper Podcast Network or Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo on wherever you find your podcast, because clearly I can't talk right now. So everywhere. And if we're not, tell us where we're not that you prefer, and then maybe Steven will fix that. I'm just going to put him on the spot. I don't know how.
Hey, I actually got us on some new platform I didn't even know existed called Deezer. So we're on Deezer. Yeah, whatever that is.
You know what? I kind of want to listen to that one just because that's fun.
Yeah.
I wonder what a Deezer is.
Anywho. But
Thank
we're there.
you so much for listening, siblings. I am Lacey Finley.
And I'm Stephen White.
And you can join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.